Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Princess and the Pod. I am your host, your favorite Perio princess, Yvette. And today I'm doing a solo episode to fill everybody in on Women in Perio, which happened through Scrubs and Scalpels, my CE company. And for everyone that couldn't make it or everybody that wasn't there, this whole episode is on the behind the scenes, what was happening, what's next, all the fun things. So let's jump right in. All right, so I'm going to start with probably the most difficult thing for me is talking about the vision behind Women in Perio specifically. So I finished residency 2018. And at that time, I just felt like I didn't see a lot of women on the podium at certain conferences. And the first time I saw a woman get up on the podium, it was one of my 2026 speakers. Shout out to Dr. Joan Otomo Cordial. That was a full circle moment and dream come true. I think I saw her at the inner city meeting that we have out here in Southern California with UCLA, USC, Loma Linda. I think UCSF came down and now they're starting to come down as well. And the grace and elegance of this woman, I just thought, wow, I want to be like her one day. And so I started paying a little more attention and I got to connect with other women, and it just always felt so magical. And it feels so nice when you see somebody that looks like you or they've gone through certain circumstances or experience, whether it's a male or female. It's really nice to connect, especially when you're in residency, because in residency, you just don't know what's next. So I probably started dreaming about Women in Perio, and the seed was probably planted in my head back in from 2015 to 2018. And eventually, I decided to put this into fruition. My first Women in Perio was 2024. I had it here in San Diego. We partnered with Pendry as the hotel and then University Club as our venue. And I truly that was actually the first CE that I ever put together. I didn't do a local CE. I mean, I was KOLing at that time. For those that don't know, KOL is a key opinion leader where you're lecturing for companies that you work with, you trust, you have a good relationship with. And it could be anything from bone grafting, socket preservation, implant placement, soft tissue grafting. And so I was speaking, and shout out to Zimvi for giving me a shot. That was my first KOL. And I had never done a conference myself where I wasn't using companies to put together a CE. I intentionally wanted to fund this myself because I wanted to have a honest and raw CE where we could connect, we could share what we're doing in private practice and not be tied to only speaking about a certain topic or subject. And so I decided I was going to go in solo. Yeah, it all happened really fast. The startup, Scrubs and Scalpels, Planning Women in Perio. I met with a friend. I talked about it before, learned how to put together a conference, looking at our lovely collaborators, sponsors, vendors, starting vetting speakers, starting looking for topics to cover. I wanted it to be all encompassing. I didn't want to focus on just one thing like soft tissue grafting or bone grafting. I wanted to cover everything from practice management to soft tissue, hard tissue, literally everything. So I had certain topics, 2024 that I wanted covered. And for 2026, I decided to change something. So learn from 2024. If you're a conferencer and you put together CE or courses, you have Excel sheets, you have people that sign up, you have the early birds, you have the late birds, late arrivals, the last minute people. I learned that the first year because that caused me a lot of anxiety. Imagine never putting together a conference and you're just like, I'm going to do this. And you have no clue what you're doing. But I figured it out. I had a lot of help and I had a lot of friends that were helping me. And so I learned from the first year because in the beginning, you have to pay the venue, you have to pay for food, hors d'oeuvres, pick the food, pick the beverages. And it's honestly sidebar. Let's digress a little bit. I that is my favorite part. Like picking the food testing. My latest venue, they were not going to let me food test. I said it was only for brides. And then I think once they realized how neurotic I am about food, beverages, my guests being happy, they were like, okay, if you want to try something before, it wanted really good wine. I didn't care for, I'm going to go off on a tangent. I did not care for their Sauvignon Blanc. It's Kim Crawford. I'm sorry if you drink Kim Crawford. I just think it's like the most Coors Light drink you can drink. And my team was like, Doc, people aren't going to care. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Fine. We'll go with the Kim Crawford. They did give me the option of bringing in bottles, but then you have a corkage fee and all these other things. And I'm like, are people really going to care as much as I care about these things? Maybe, but we keep improving, right? So, yeah. So for 2026, I thought I was going to do it. I told attendees that I was going to do 2026. And then I wasn't sure because private practice got busy. I wasn't sure if, like, this is a community that I see the vision, but I was unsure if other people see the vision. Yeah, I'll get feedback every once in a while of like, hey, are we doing it again? I had so much fun. I'll see some of the girlies at AAP and we'll try to go to courses together. So the community was like starting, right? But every other year is kind of tough, but it was what I could mentally take on. And so from feedback surveys told, hey, you should alternate West Coast, East Coast, which I agree. But the difficulty is because it's me putting it together. I would have to fly to the East Coast, look at the venues. Yes, I can have help, but it's still not the same because you're not there. They don't know you. You're just flying on site. And so I thought, okay, maybe I'll do it in San Diego again. Did it in San Diego. San Diego weather is something that you also have to think about. Again, like the wedding that I had never had because I eloped, but weather. In June, San Diego can be a little gloomy, and so I was unsure. It wasn't gloomy, it was windy, but funny enough, everybody from the East Coast was like, "The weather was so good. This is so great." And I'm reading all of your surveys. Please keep sending them back because it gives us feedback as how to improve, what to do, how to make it more fun and exciting. And everybody was like, the weather was so great. All the locals from San Diego, we were like, the marine layer stayed on like for an hour longer this morning. It was so windy. It was a little windy, but if you're from San Diego, if it's not 72, partially cloudy in the morning, sunny mid-noon, then, the afternoon starts to cool down. We just complain so much. We do have it very, very well out here in San Diego with the weather. So that worked out. I made the decision that I'm going to keep Women in Perio and I'm going to keep it in San Diego. I truly thought that 2026 was my last year. And getting to meet all of you and seeing all of you there and the feedback and the face to face. And I know I was so busy because I was bopping around having to conference and I lectured this year, which was tough. But getting to see you face to face and the feedback and the surveys, and please give me honest feedback. I promise you will not hurt my feelings. I'm not that type of girly. I want honest feedback so that I can improve because I did decide to keep going with Women in Perio. Women in Perio is the only conference in the world where all of the speakers are American board certified female periodontists in the world. So shout out to my friend Morgan. She had a great post on giving the history of women in dentistry and women founded Perio. And so for me, this is too important to stop. Doesn't matter. You can't really tell, but I have lost so much hair. I have a lot of hair. You guys have seen my curly hair. My natural hair is really curly, but I have to cut it pretty short to get those fancy curls. But I've lost so much hair. Can you see my gray hair? Coming back, I accidentally dyed my hair red. The theme for 2026 was Year of the Fire Horse. So stepping into your true self and really owning 2026 and Year of the Fire Horse. Powerful, strong, your Empress year, your Queen year, like all of the things. That was what I wanted the theme to be for this year. First year didn't really have a theme, as you guys know, like pink is my thing. And that was some other feedback that I got too from the girls. They were like, can we make the next year pink again? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So 2028, don't know the theme yet. All I know is we're going all out in pink. If you like pink. If you don't like pink, that's okay. Come as you are. Whatever makes you comfortable. Listen, I had lubes as soon as I walked in. I had red bottoms. I had a green power suit. I was in my Empress era. I was in my Empress era with the red bottoms because it was always my dream to walk through my dental school graduation in red bottoms. Never happened. Didn't happen for Perio. Did not have the money, but now I do because life gets better as we grow and move on. I lasted 2 speakers in the red bottoms, and then I switched to my Tory Burch like loafers, and some of the girls wear sneakers. I'm like, whatever makes you comfortable, you come in that. Had a little bit of a crop top too, which for a normal conference, I don't think you get to do that, but you do for women in Perio. And then something else, let's see where I am. I'm just rambling on. Talked about putting it together, food, all that. The theme, then I'm gonna keep doing it in San Diego, guys. I will move it earlier because I realized that there's a lot of graduations, and this year we had an outstanding number of residents that came. For the residents, there's a resident scholarship where you don't have to pay for your ticket. You have to pay for your flight and travel, but there is also a scholarship for one resident who wins the certificate and awards. And this year we called it She Leads. And so this is a leader, and shout out to Dr. Kelly De La Torre for winning this year. She's just an amazing person. I can't say enough good things about her. She was a hygienist before, went to dental school, now she's in perio. The maturity of Kelly, I thought she was a third year. I'm removed from the scholarship component because I know a lot of these girlies, and I just remove myself for bias purposes, but I do read your letter and your questionnaires and all that because truly that's what keeps me going. I usually cry a little bit because it's it's tough in residency. I promise it gets better. Takes a while to get better, but it does get better. But Kelly's amazing. So full circle moment for me because again, Kelly was somebody that I mentored since I don't know if hygiene school or dental school, but she and I have been in touch for a while. Let's see. The theme, venue, food, my speaker. I have the best speakers. I'll start with if you're interested in lecturing, you're a current KOL, send me a DM, an email, a message. I'll link down my email for Scrubs and Scalpels below. It is difficult to lecture. Sarah had a really hard time because I was emceeing. Shout out to Sarah, my first year's co-host. Need 2 MCs and 2 co-hosts so I can be in the background now because again, now we're growing, developing and all that. But if you're interested, I am planning some Zooms and I will plug that in later. But my speakers. So I had 2 return speakers. Number 1, Dr. Ashley Houders. She's dual trained and board certified in both Pros and Perio. She has a practice in the Pacific Northwest, just an icon. When you watch and listen to her lecture, she is so intentional. She was so on it. She helped me a lot behind the scenes as well. So even the crowd, my team and I were sitting towards the back. We had our own little table with a runner. So cute. And Ashley was helping me a lot because there was a few audio issues, which always happens, but it's good to have a team there that can manage that. And then my other return speaker was Dr. Caroline Arcio, and she brought her two babies, which was awesome. I think maybe Ashley might have brought Hudson. I'm not sure, but Caroline was there, her husband was there. I think Ashley's husband might have been there too. And it was amazing. So Dr. Hoders wanted to lecture on cemental tears first year. I wanted her to lecture on phenotype modification for ortho. I was just like, people don't know about this to really comprehensively treatment plan with ortho. I wish a lot of more ortho would have been there. Very useful. But this year we talked about cemental tears. There's a lot of general dentists that attend the meeting, and general dentists, hygienists, everybody is mind blown on cemental tears. I wouldn't say it's rare. I think the frequency is more common now in private practice. One of the top like favorite lectures was about cemental tears. Just those things that you're like, huh, maybe it's not a root fracture. Maybe let's look for a zebra and not the horse. And so that was an amazing lecture. She's awesome. And we had Dr. Sandra Stewart open the conference. Dr. Stewart, she is the pre-doc program director at University of Michigan. Up and comer, keep your eye on her. She's really going to make moves, impacts in perio. And she had a really great lecture. I got to meet her husband, who's a pathologist. I love Pat. If you didn't know, I had Stephen Roth on my pod. He's a really, really close friend. We work really closely together frequently. And it was awesome to see him there supporting his wife and the husband supporting their wives, which was really awesome this year. And I think part of it is because I picked a different venue. The first year, it was like a more of like a downtown vibe, like the girls. And then this year it was like family, like bring the babies, bring your husbands if they want to come. They're mostly coming for like, food, lunch, dinner, happy hours and stuff. They would bop in for a few of the lectures, which I love. I really appreciate the support from all the men that came. I want to make it clear you don't have to be a woman to come to Women in Perio. The point is that we're forming a community. The fabric of Women in Perio, and something that I will never change, is that all the speakers are women in perio, specifically periodontists. I hope in the future I can add a day. We could do some hygiene collab. I think that's really, really needed. But for right now, my bandwidth and all I can do, not all I can do, like this is a huge conference. But for right now, this is what we're keeping it at. I did ask in the survey if people want to do it 2 days because we just jam-packed so much CE in there, and people want to keep it a day so they can arrive a day before, explore San Diego, leave a day late, hang out with their friends. And I get it. That's part of the CE. So just thank you and keep giving me the feedback. I'll edit a few things like lunch hours, breaks, times, different things. But I also have to keep in mind the East Coast people's time zone versus like West Coast. I know it's hard, guys, and I know it's a long flight. We had people fly in from Florida, New York, New Jersey, somewhere like Nantucket. Gaio, please tell me where you're from. I always forget. Colorado girlies, Arizona girls. We had somebody flying from, where's Warren Buffett from? Anyway, we had people come from all over, and it was really awesome to see, especially your face in person behind just me DMing you on an Instagram. It's not the same. Like, please come. And it's not just about our relationship and our, like, whether it's a mentorship that we have, whether you ask me questions, whether you're interested in applying to Perio. It's really important that you form the connections with all the girls and guys. And I really saw that happening, which was awesome. Like, it was such a think tank. It was awesome. At the happy hours, just chatting, collabing, the socializing part and the think tank. And I feel like we all have a lot of other business ideas and ideas. And this is always a good spark. So we had such a good time. Let's see. What other speakers? Let's go back to speakers. I hope you can keep up with my ADHD. Oh, I'm sure you can. Okay, so speakers. I also had Dr. Arena Dragon. Dr. Dragon was slated for 2024, and she just welcomed a brand new member to the family. And so she was kind enough to come for 2026. I can't even tell you her resume. She's a board examiner for AAP boards. She works as a faculty for Tufts, Harvard, researcher, and the overall theme was that she's a mentor to a lot of us. The community that she's building, she has a practice in Boston, so we've chatted about that. I could not say enough good things. She was discussing bringing science into your clinical practice, which is really important and really strong, especially if you're hearing from a researcher slash faculty. Those are a lot of hats to wear for Arena. We had Dr. Joan Otomo Cordial. Talked about her earlier. She discussed osteoporosis, all of the new, there's going to be a new classification for MRONJ or BRONJ because we're just seeing it in different aspects. Her patient population is very unique, and she's our upcoming CDA president. If you have the chance to meet her, please do. One of the most kind, humble, empowering women you will ever meet. I think it's rare that you meet somebody that wants to support you, your vision, your dream. And she's just so happy all the time. Like, even if she's a little upset, she's just like, it's okay. But she was somebody that I really looked up to. So I did tippy taps all over my living room when she agreed and said yes. So that was awesome. And then we had a speaker that I was unfamiliar with, and I'm so glad I met her because I feel like this is going to be a close friend as well. Dr. Melanie Toe. Dr. Melanie Toe is based out of East Coast, Frederick, and she is mostly an all-on-4 clinic. She has 2 associates. Melanie, I hope I can say this. She's looking for another associate. She's looking for an associate. Send me a message and I'll put you in contact with her office manager, Rachel, who is amazing. But she lectured on All on 4. This is a female periodontist. She did a start from scratch practice. She was also a faculty, and she's doing mostly all on 4s. She's doing zygoma implants, fully digital workflow. Amazing. Her humility, her kindness, everything. I'm so thankful that she flew out to all the way to California. It's a 3-hour time difference, guys. It's hard. It hits me hard when I go to East Coast. And so for her to come out, she was also there with Dr. Athena. They're going to start an all on 4 class. I'm going. You better be going. I will keep you guys updated on when they do the course because I think it's really, really important. And I also think that it's important that we talk about saving teeth, but also sometimes we can't. But we also need to be those that are managing those complications. Just a personal story. I do all on 4, but I am mostly fixing all on 4 from other offices. I'm close to the border. I'm close to TJ, doing a lot of soft tissue around implants, removing a lot of implants. Those are the tough cases. You need to know how to do the all on 4, but you also need to know how to manage the complications. So I highly recommend Dr. Melanie Toe for private practice. I think she's going to hop on the pod or do a CE for me, probably on Zoom virtual. So stay tuned for that as well. And who am I missing? Myself? Yeah, I think me. So I was lecturing on Botox for TMJ. So depending on the state, it gets very specific as to what you can and can't do, what's considered aesthetics. California is kind of a gray zone. So I just wanted to focus on TMJ and aesthetics. We were running a little bit behind this year, so I just had to like blast through everything. I will do another CE on Zoom, so please watch out for that on Scrubs and Scalpels on Instagram. I will post that. I'll go focus on TMJ again for the first one, and then I'll go more into facial aesthetics for the second lecture. So that will be a 2-part lecture. Things to stay tuned and what's next. Again, I'm gonna put the card down. I really thought this was my last year. I just on a personal note, we don't talk about mental health enough or a lot. I love planning. Could you guys hear my stomach? I'm hungry. A lot goes into planning women in perio. It was important to me to see through, just like the startup was really important for me to see through. I know myself fairly well. I knew that I did not want to keep knocking on doors, waiting for doors to open. I knew other women felt the same. And I thought, why can't I create it? Like, why not me? So I was really unsure. There's just so much that goes into it. The bonus is that I did it 1 year. The next year was better. The next year will be better. I sat down, I took notes, I used Claude, my AI. We figured out where the gaps were. Not to knock that the conference wasn't amazing. It was so amazing. You've seen the girls' TikToks, you've seen the photos, you've seen the community. That's what I want. Yes, like we're here to learn from each other, but we're also here to build long-term friendships, long-term community with our colleagues. And that message and the feeling and being around each other and seeing the friends and seeing everybody connecting on socials, privates, DMs, all that stuff, texting. That's what's important to me is I want to keep the community going. I'm going to give a special shout to Dr. Crystal Chen. I met her when she was a dental student. She was interested in perio, and we sat down. I was like, okay, this is what you need to do, your application, da da da. Da. Same thing when she was going through residency, we kept in touch. I think for boards, we kept in touch. We're now friends. Our husbands are friends. I'm going to go out to Chicago soon to go see her. But imagine going from somebody that was in dental school and then now they own their own practice. And this is like my friend slash colleague. My dental school girlies were there. And that's what I want from you guys. I think I've said it so many times. Private practice is so lonely. It's so hard. I've had really dark moments. I've had really stressful moments. I've met other girlies and guys that have felt the same. They reach out to me. It can be really hard. So I want to keep the community going. And again, we are the only conference in the world where all the speakers are women in perio. So I have to keep going and I'm really excited for 2028. I have a few women that have been in perio. I'm not going to share who they are. I look up to both of them so much. And there's a third, and the third one's already involved. So maybe that gives you a little clue. They're like, we want to be there. We want to come. For us to learn from them, these are the type of women that are true, they're genuine, they're honest, and they want us to succeed. And that's what I want to bring into the conference. We're the threads that weave together perio. So I'm really excited for 2028, but 2028 is so far. So in the meantime, follow Scrubs and Scalpels on Instagram. I'm going to do a happy hour every Thursday. You don't have to be perio to join. You don't have to be a periodontist. You don't have to be a woman to join. Just come. You can be a general dentist. Big feedback that I got was that we didn't talk enough about practice management, and I agree. So I'll be headlighting the first one. But come, if you own a business, you're interested in owning a business, I'm going to show you all the tedious stuff that we don't talk about. Aging of accounts receivable, profit and loss statements. I will show you guys one of my BAMs that I work with my bookkeeper. And like, I'm not just spending money every day. Like I have a budget. She's giving me the budget. We have a growth projection that's tiered for every quarter. All the things that you don't know, dentistry, residency, whatever. If you're a general dentist, come. If you're interested in business and dentistry, come. My bookkeeper is also going to do a Zoom where she's telling us like what she looks at, what we can classify as this. And she's really excited. She just started her own business. She couldn't make it because she was on a trip with her family, but she's awesome. We've been working together for almost 5 years, and I will bring on other speakers because I'm not a financial guru or a financial expert, despite, I I'm not a total finance person, but I know a lot of the admin. I've worked in admin. I worked as a lab technician. So that's a big one that we'll talk about. If you're interested, come to the first one. It's this Thursday at it's a great question. I will post the time down below. I will share it on social media, remind you guys we're sending out the Zoom links later today. And so start to come to that. It will be the first Thursday of every month. And then because we won't have a Women in Perio 2027, we'll have one in 2028. So 2027, a lot of the girls are highly requesting a women's retreat. 2027, we will be going on a retreat somewhere. Napa is in the talks. I'm talking to Miraval, different locations. Sonoma would be good. Santa Fe. I'm from New Mexico. I didn't intentionally wear the necklace, but maybe it's a like premonition or something. So maybe Santa Fe, but 2027 we'll do a small mastermind with a retreat here in the US. And yeah, I'm excited. I think two last things, but 2027 we'll do a small mastermind with a retreat here in the US. And yeah, I'm excited. I think two last things, it just takes meeting like that one person that's going to make a huge difference, you know? So closing up, like I knew this was going to be a little emotional. Last thing, which is totally off topic. I had a high request of 2028. Can we go back to pink? This year, I wanted to do fire horse, like you're in your era. We're strong. We're moving forward. We shed the snake. Did you guys hear my shoulder? So get your pink outfits ready. Again, if you don't like pink, it's okay. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. But we're moving into a different time in 2028. We will see where the world is at, but I'm going to start planning now because I want it to be more curated, more epic, and all the girls from 2024 showed up for 2026. I'm going to start looking for my speakers for 2028. And in the meantime, to keep the community, come to the Zooms. Again, women, ladies, general, I don't care what specialty. And then from there, we're going to start our small mastermind group where we'll do certain CEs, Zooms with a specific content, and then we'll do a small retreat. And then from there, the next year will be our 2028 Women in Perio. So yay. Thanks everybody for the support. I really thought I was going to stop doing it. I I won't. I'll share in the small groups, like all the stress and everything. You guys don't need to hear the stress. But anyways, I will see everybody on a Thursday for our Zoom where I will break down accounts receivable, profit and loss statements, how to read those, and then wherever you guys want to go, it'll be a short hour. And I'm super excited. So that was Women in Perio. Past Women in Perio 2024, 2026. We will do it 2028. And then in the meantime, 2027, first Thursday of every month, a Zoom. And then from there, we're going to do a small breakout group for 2027 with a retreat on the end, maybe Napa. Let me know where you guys want to go. And then 2028 will be our big conference. I just want you guys to know, like the ladies that I look up to so much that are emailing, wanting to join and help us, I think the future is so bright. So have a great day, everybody. Bye.